Israel has carried out an air raid in Syria. The Iranian state-run SANA news agency quoted an unnamed military official stating that the attack took place shortly before dawn when Israeli warplanes flew over neighboring Lebanon. The report quoted a military source. At about 4 o'clock, 0200 GMT in the morning today, the Israeli enemy launched an aerial aggression with a barrage of missiles coming from the direction of the Lebanese city of Tripoli, aiming at some targets in the vicinity of Hama Governorate. Our air defenses confronted the enemy's missiles and downed most of them. Viewers may note that Israel has been launching raids against what it calls Iran-linked military targets in Syria over the years. It almost never acknowledges or discusses such operations. Israel has justified the attacks inside Syria, claiming Iran and Hezbollah pose a security challenge. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer All Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, has reportedly agreed to a deal to buy Lockheed Martin-built F-35 Joint Strike Fighter aircraft from the U.S. It involves the procurement of 50 F-35 aircraft and was approved by the U.S. State Department through the Foreign Military Sale (FMS) program. It was notified by Defense Security Cooperation Agency (DSCA) in November 2020. The source said the agreement signing took place around an hour prior to U.S. President-elect Joseph Biden being inaugurated as the new president on the 20th of January. Reuters reported that the new president is set to re-examine the agreements. Though the deal between the two countries was expected to happen in December, issues related to delivery timelines, cost, technology, etc. resulted in delays. The increasing threat from unmanned aerial systems, or UAS, has led to a new executive order. The aim of the executive order is to prevent the use of taxpayer dollars to procure UAS that present unacceptable risks and are manufactured by or contain software or critical electronic components from foreign adversaries, and to encourage the use of domestically produced UAS. The order restricts and excludes drone technologies from countries deemed adversarial, while also instructing the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) to update its policies concerning airspace over sensitive infrastructure sites. The order instructs all heads of executive branch departments and agencies to conduct thorough reviews of current UAS technologies and suppliers to ensure there are no threats from technologies built by adversary countries. Iran's Revolutionary Guard launched ballistic missiles against a simulated target in the Indian Ocean, state television reported. Named Great Prophet 15, the latest exercise also featured a drone attack on a missile defense system, followed by the launch of a barrage of new-generation surface-to-surface ballistic missiles. Footage showed 2 missiles smash into a target that Iranian state television described as a hypothetical hostile enemy ship. The missiles were fired from central Iran, the Revolutionary Guard said. Chief of Staff General Mohammad Bagheri said while Iran had no offensive intentions, it would now be able to respond to any hostile and malicious act in the shortest time. The drill also took place just days after Tehran marked the anniversary of the assassination of revered Guards commander Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in a U.S. drone strike in Iraq in January last year. The Indian Army plans to redeploy up to 10,000 extra troops by the year-end to carry out the force's primary task: counter the Chinese threat in the eastern sector, people familiar with the development indicated. Sources indicated that these soldiers are part of a reserve division whose elements can be swiftly shifted to support frontline troops guarding the line of actual control (LAC) with China to deal with any contingency in the sensitive sector. While around 3,000 soldiers have already been pulled out of counterinsurgency and internal security duties in the Northeast, another 7,000 soldiers are expected to be withdrawn by the year-end. The de facto border between China and India is the line of actual control (LAC), and the two countries have a difference in perception of their actual alignment at nearly 14 different points, which has emerged as an issue between the two nuclear-armed nations. The U.S. Navy has decided to suspend further deliveries of Freedom-class littoral combat ships (LCS) until a persistent problem with the transmission is fixed properly. Defense News reported that the U.S. Navy had confirmed to them that a material defect in the transmission on the Freedom class would have to be fixed before any more of the warships are accepted for service. As of now, 10 Freedom-class warships have been delivered, with another 5 under construction or in the process of fitting out, and one more is on order too. The Littoral Combat Ship, LCS, is a set of 2 classes, the Independence and Freedom. Construction of the Freedom class is spearheaded by Lockheed Martin at Fincantieri Marinette Marine Shipyard in Wisconsin, while that of Independence-class ships is led by Austal USA in Alabama. These are relatively small surface vessels and basically designed for operations near shore. This is a setback. Top U.S. and United Kingdom defense officials signed an agreement this week to merge some military forces in 2021 to form a combined carrier strike group. Marine Corps F-35B Joint Strike Fighter aircraft and the Navy destroyer the Sullivans will deploy as part of the strike group, former Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller announced. The UK-US Combined Strike Group will be led by the UK aircraft carrier Queen Elizabeth. The agreement was signed by Miller and UK Secretary of State for Defense Ben Wallace. The strike group is scheduled to sail out of Portsmouth, UK later this year. The Pentagon's announcement on the agreement states, "This deployment underscores the strength of our bilateral ties and demonstrates US-UK interoperability, both of which are key tenets of the U.S. National Defense Strategy." British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said in November, "Next year, HMS Queen Elizabeth will lead a British and Allied task group on our most ambitious deployment for 2 decades." He said, "We shall forward deploy more of our naval assets in the world's most important regions, protecting the shipping lanes that supply our nation." Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.